Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far. We are getting started here. It is a Saturday, so welcome. Should be some good and interesting stuff going on today. Right now I am letting the Tetris game just sort of run while I talk to you for a second. So a couple of things that are going on that I want to talk about that are coming up. On Monday we're going to have a guest on the stream. We are going to have, on Monday, we're going to be doing some pair programming, and specifically what I want to work on that stream is I want to try and get a bunch more of our dev stream scheduling application built. So that is the web application we were working on, that we really started working on Tuesday, when we had John Skeet on here, and we will be continuing on that. Should be a lot of fun. Actually, let me back out of that so it's not running. And specifically, I want to actually build that app. So I know a lot of people have been asking, hey Brendan, let's do some web stuff. And so that's my plan on doing some web stuff. So if you didn't see earlier parts of that stream, we are using ASP.NET Core, C#. We've got Razor pages, we have MVC API controllers, we've got Notatime to deal with all the various time zones and things like that. We're also using time zone names, so a couple of interesting packages that I think people should know about. Those are C# packages. We are using Vue.js to do the front-end binding of our content. So that's what we're doing on Monday. It should be a lot of fun. As I said, it's going to be a pair programming stream, so should be a blast. Today, I wanted to do some JavaScript coding, so I will tell you, I have plans for... So we listed Car Chase as the second game that we were going to do as part of our game jams on here, but I actually have another one in mind, so that is not going to be our next game. I want to wrap up our Tetris game, get it built, and say, hey, we're done, the Tetris game works, it's in a great place, and then once that's done, I figure we can, then leave that one boxed up for a while and work on some other interesting stuff. Okay, so other things that are in the works that I want to tell you all about. I am trying to get us an F# stream set up, so we're going to do those at one point. As I said, I'm trying to schedule guest people to come in and talk with us about F# so that we can go through that. So I will still fumble in F# because I am, I've used F# before a long time ago, a little bit, but I'm not an F# expert, so let's bring someone in. I can fumble through so we can all learn from that, and then we can also get, guided expert information from an F# expert. I also want to do Xamarin at some point. So these are just a couple of things that I want to mention to all of you, that these are on the docket at some point. In terms of Blazor, because I know people are going to be wondering about that, I do want to do some Blazor streams. We're definitely going to do one of our game jams is going to be in Blazor 100%. We're absolutely doing that. I want to wait until Blazor's further along so that we don't have to change it too much. In addition, one of our past guests, Guy Royce, mentioned that he's been doing WebAssembly stuff lately, so I am going to attempt to twist his arm and force him to come onto the stream and talk with us about WebAssembly stuff at some point. So I am sure I can convince Guy to do that, because Guy is, well, after all, a pretty good guy. So, dad jokes aside, let's take a look at some coding. Okay, so, a couple of things that I want to note about our program that are just jump out at me that I want to fix. WebAssembly! Exactly, Greendorf. Totally want to do some WebAssembly stuff. It is really, really neat. If you haven't seen WebAssembly, it's cool stuff. It's actually what makes Blazor possible. So, okay, so we have a couple of things. So, rotating pieces. We rotate pieces now. I am going to call this one done as long as that wasn't in a branch. Did we merge that branch already? No, rotations is its own branch still. Let me create the pull request. We won't necessarily finish it. We can still commit some stuff to it. But I want to see what is in this pull request. So I'm going to call this rotate blocks in pieces. All right, let's see what's in here. So we put blocks inside of a container to grab the values. So we added a little bit of complexity to blocks. We deal with the block manager. This is the rotation maps, so we did not have to do the math. We just hard-coded in what the rotations are, so how the object moves. because we said, hey, that's a pretty easy way to do, then we don't actually have to math it around the thing. Which we could have just mathed it, but I think that worked well enough. So there's the rotation, and the nice part is we can replace this with math at any point in the future and just leave only the first one. Hey Pat, and congratulations, by the way, and happy Saturday. Okay, so we check whether or not we can rotate. So this looks like it is basically just the rotation. So sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and create this pull request, and we'll merge that one in, and then we'll create a new branch for the code that we're going to do today. So let's merge that in, confirm the merge, and delete the branch. I'm going to hop over here. I am in the wrong branch. There we go. Whoops, I did not mean to click that. Now I'm going to have to undo that. Derp. I derped that one. Sorry, everyone. Deleting the branch again. Deleted, restored, deleted. Derp. Okay, so let's hop back over here. So, oh, that should have been in that pull request. I'm going to close that one. Okay, so pieces rotate. Awesome. Adding a gradient to the display of the block, cool thing, definitely want to do it. I want to make the game more functional first, so let's put that one on the backlog. Display information on the screen. We display a little bit. We don't display enough yet. Allow game over, and you know what I want? I want to have a start screen. Scan, welcome. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. Hopefully you're looking forward to some good content today. So, start game with button press. Don't have the game automatically start playing. Show a splash screen first. Okay, so here's why I want to do this issue first, and this kind of goes towards planning how you want to build a project. So here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the game over screen, and the idea being that we need some end state where we're done. Well, when you get to an end state, you need a way to start again. So we're already going to have to build in the idea that the game sometimes isn't running. So I think we have a Boolean for whether or not it's running, but we never trigger that yet. So what I was going to do is I was going to start us off not running. We're not displaying anything. We haven't even run the start method yet. And then we're going to try to start things, and then we'll put in the end game. So those are the couple of pieces we're going to put in today. Should be pretty quick and easy. Let me get this label on here because I forgot to put it on when I created the issue. But there we go. So let's have a look. Okay, so I want at the beginning of the game for it not to start. Well, that's easy. I want to run it out of here, not out of there. .NET run watch. So because I'm running this, so that is just a static HTML site, but I'm running it through my ASP.NET Core web application. The reason why is because it spins up a web server, and I've got it installed, and it's nice and easy. So I can actually then just load this website at that URL, and it should run just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and go to localhost :5000, and that should load up the same website I'm on. It does. And then when I click on Tetris, I go here, and hey, look, no game running. Woohoo! Okay, so that's cool. So we're there. Game does not run right now. Sounds terrible, I know. Wait a minute, you made the game not run. Well, yeah. So we started it here. So I'm going to put that back. I don't want this to be start. I want to display a splash screen first. So display maybe we do this on initialize or something. Maybe we initialize the application and then we can call start when they click the button. So we'll call initialize here. Now what do we need to initialize the game? So start resets the update counter to 0. This we might want to display on the canvas. So I'm going to move these up, actually. We're going to put them up here in the constructor. Actually, these are going all the way up. So I want easy access to these, so I'm just going to make them constants up here than anything else within this application, within this file can use. So I want to be clear that this is a module. So what that means is that this isn't actually just regularly included on the page. The only thing from this page anybody else is going to get is something we export. Since I'm not exporting those constants, people don't get them unless they ask for them. Hey, Agent Coder, welcome, good afternoon. And good afternoon, everyone else that's here. Good morning if you're west of me. Good evening if you're east of me. All right, so that'll get us our basic canvases. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to create the screen display right off the bat and draw the background. So the background we want to do, I think we want to show some kind of instructions. So block manager, so we don't need to deal with blocks, we don't need pieces, we don't need an animation loop, but we do want an event listener for key down, specifically for just the one that we want. And actually what I'm wondering is if I can put in some other values for these. I forget, can I actually just put in I forget if I can just put W in there. I don't remember. Now that I think about it, I think JavaScript will try to auto-convert that. Looking at those, I think I can get away with that. But that's not what I want to do right now. I want to add a different event listener. So this piece move stuff doesn't matter. I kind of want to make it so that spacebar is what actually triggers starting the game. So let's display that to the user first. So we'll do that. So we'll say display start screen. So let's do that. So over in our screen display, we are going to have display start screen, and it is going to do a we're going to draw that on the main canvas. So the primary context is where we're going to draw this, and the reason why is because this is going to get cleared out as soon as the game starts. So Diddy Demon, for this project, we're doing all canvas drawing for the moment. So the only thing that's not in a canvas and thus would merit something like React is just our display of data, and we haven't wired that up yet. In our other projects on the stream, we are using Vue.js, except for one where we're using React. And we're only minorly using React right now, but we may wire that up at some point. But again, this is just a standalone, so we're probably just going to do Vanilla.js for this one. Though I think there's definitely room to do a game jam project, which, by the way, this is one of our ongoing series that I started, which is essentially at some point we'll just add games to it. So the idea being that we can decide to just add a new game to our game jams library and just put a new one in. So the goal is that they're each supposed to be like a standalone simple application. I'm probably going to have some code reuse extracted out that can be shared between them because we will run into some shared libraries. But this will let us do some in Vanilla.js, some using a game engine, some using C# and Blazor. But that's the idea, is do cool stuff. So yeah, at some point we'll probably do one with React because I think there's room for some games that don't depend on a canvas. We'll see what we end up building at some point. I think there's going to be some cool stuff. So, alright. So, context, I want to, I'll just fill a rectangle. And I want to put the rectangle, and right now I'm just going to hard code these. I'll extract this information later and probably even do them based on a calculation of the size, so we put them in the middle. And actually, why don't I just do this? When I drew the background, what did I do? Border width divided by 2? Not even sure why I did that. This dot canvas width. Where do we want to put this? Okay, so let's just do this. Const x equals, I'm just going to do this for now. Const y equals 100. What are the next values it asks for? Is it width and height? Yep, width and height. Okay. Const width equals 100. Const height equals, I don't know, 25. Let's see where that ends up drawing, and I need to change my fill style to be this one. What do we want to draw this in with? We want to draw this darker, so that color actually works. That'll be the same color as the border. Let's just see where this draws right now. So I'm going to go to the Tetris page and... Oh, we put the darker color in the middle. Okay, we'll make it lighter then. I wasn't reading correctly. X, Y, width, height. Helps if you actually draw it. Okay, so there we go. So that's a nice dark rectangle. Drawn right onto the middle. That's not where we're going to put it. That's not the size it's going to be. And I meant to put that on context. That's supposed to be a light rectangle that we can draw dark text on. Okay, so how wide do we want this to be? We want this to be half of the width of our screen. So we're going to say this dot underscore canvas dot width divided by 2. So that is our width. There we go. I love Tetris. Pat, I actually agree with you there. I love Tetris, and I used to play the old Game Boy version also. It was quite fun. Very, very good game. Okay, so let's do that. Let's put this in the middle of the board. Actually, middle? Yeah, we'll put it in the middle. So our Y will be canvas height divided by 2. So canvas height divided by 2. Now we're going to have to adjust that because that's going to get us the top marker. We're going to need to, so minus half of the height. So let's say h divided by 2. Now that means height needs to be above this. It doesn't actually need, I wanna do it that way, make a little bit of sense. Okay, so, oh, whoops, that's supposed to be canvas height. Height divided by 2 minus height over 2. There we go. So that should be not quite in the middle. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's put height and width on the top. So I'm going to move this down here. So we're going to say height is 100, width is... Hey, the Fable, welcome, greetings. Our x value should be, based on the width, it should be this dot underscore canvas dot width minus the width divided by 2 or something like that, right? No, it's width divided by 2 minus that. There we go. Okay, so that should put it roughly in the middle. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm dividing by half to get the midpoint, and then I'm subtracting half of the width of the object to, you know, center the middle of the object in there. Object-oriented is much better for games. So, Pat, I don't think there's a much better. So we're doing a little bit of object-oriented programming for these right now. JavaScript lends itself very well to functional programming, so very likely I might even do, just as an experiment, do the same game that we already did, but in a functional style instead of an object-oriented style. So that is definitely something we could do here on the stream. But I wouldn't say that one is necessarily better than the other. I think they both can be good. Whoops. Okay. So that is, roughly speaking, an object in the middle of the screen that is a height of 100 pixels, which I think that's too big. Whoops. And I made it bigger. So we're going to make it like that, and now I just want to put some text in it. I could rounded corners, or so I'm not going to deal with that right now. I just want to put an object in there, and now I want to write some text over it. So the text is going to be this dot underscore context dot I forget what it is. HTML canvas. Is it just text? Is that why I'm forgetting it? Fill text. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, interwebs, for providing me exactly what I wanted. That's the one, except we don't want CTX because we use this underscore context. We could map that value to a constant. So if you guys hear an interesting sound in the background on my stream, that would be the cat trying to get into the closet. He's grabbing the handle and pulling on it and trying to sneak his way in there. He likes to hide in the closet. There's all comfy spots. Jolie, come here, kitty. Okay, well, sorry, no cat stream yet. There could still be a cat stream later. This is not going to be the right place for it. Let's just see where it draws that text. There it is. Hello world. Hey, cool. Okay, so let's move this to the right place. And when I move it to the right place, it is not going to show up in there because I'm still using that old fill style. So let's do this. What did I do? 3s? So now it's not going to appear at all. Until I move it into the correct place. So I want to put it inside of that box. So here's what I have to do. I want to use these coordinates, which means I want to use the x and the y that this provided me. So I want to say x and y, and this is not going to put it in the right place yet, but it's going to get it close, and then we can math ourselves it into the right spot. What? Hello world x, y? Let me make it black just so I can see where it put it. Oh, okay, right. I derped there for a moment. I forgot. So when I draw a rectangle, it uses the top left corner of the rectangle to decide where it's going to draw it. That's actually where the coordinate system is too. So this up here is 0, 0 in the top left corner. Down here is the maximum values. That's the same thing for the rectangle. Text is different. Text, it gives you the bottom left corner is what you are telling it where you want the text to be, which means we need to add the font size in order to put it down lower. So, with 30 pixels being the value, I need to say y plus 30-ish, right? We're going to tweak a little bit to get that right. But now it appears. So there's the problem. So I need to put the font size in there. But I actually want this to show up in the middle. So again, the way I do that is this. I can say const font size equals 30. So we'll save that as a variable. So we're not going to use the static 30 right there. But we need this in the string here because we needed to pass this value. So in order to do that, we can do this. So we can interpolate that string and create the string using the font size, and boom! Suddenly, we actually have that value in there. So again, I can go here, refresh, and it still works. The Fable, what are you wowing? The hilarity of doing that, or which thing? Okay, so I want to put text in the middle of that. So again, we can do a little bit of math and figure out where is the midpoint on this. So I would actually drop that down and shift it into the center. Cool trick. Again, I'm going to jump out to the internet because I want to show you all that you can do this. JavaScript measure text. You might not know you can do this. In a canvas, you can actually measure text. So right here, if I want to get the height of text, y plus 30, and then it displays. Yeah, so the challenge is it was displaying right above that, so I just needed to drop it down. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Hello world is my text, but that's not going to be the text very long. Const, we're going to say text equals, and I'm going to write this as press space bar space to start. So there's our text. That's some pretty long text, actually. So I want to measure text, and I'm going to say this dot underscore context dot measure text and grab the width. This will tell me how wide the text is. And why don't I say const measurement equals that. Where'd that cat go? He was just messing with my green screen. Okay, so that gets us our measurement. Instead of saying hello world, we're going to pass in text. Instead of adding font size, let's do plus... So we're going to say y, so if we add h, that should put us at the bottom of it. So let's just add h for now. We're not going to use the measurement. I'm just going to put the text at the bottom. So press space to start shows that. Okay, cool. So I want to change the width. It's not wide enough. Let's just go ahead and code in a width for now. We're not going to base it on the canvas size. We're just going to set it to be, I don't know. Let's see how big 200 is. Probably not big enough. No. 400. That's too wide. I think that's the width of the, I think that's actually the width of, of the thing that we're in. Okay, so there it is. We will do that based on the measurement of the text in a moment. But for now, that gets it to display. And notice that since I added the height of our rectangle, that our text is directly at the bottom of the rectangle. So that's how the canvas works. We don't want it to be directly at the bottom, so we want to do like some kind of a measurement. So I want to do like height divided by 2 and then minus measurement dot height 2 or something like that. Let me see if that works. Where does that put it? Nope, that is way off. We're probably getting an error, actually, then, based on this, because I expected to see that. No? Well, let's put that back in again, and we'll see what happens. So there's the start. Let's drop in a breakpoint. I want to see what that measurement came back with. Derp. I think it has both, doesn't it? Oh, you're right. It only has a width. Yeah, there you go. Only gives me a width. I guess I just have to use the font size for that. Okay, I thought it would have both. You win. You win. Brow. Congrats, everybody. It's Invisible Cat Stream. Yeah, who's a sweet kitty? Who's a good boy? Yeah, so, Will, I was just going to use the font size then, which is pretty close. It's a pretty close approximation. So many cat claws. So many cat claws. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead and do... so plus h divided by 2. And then, what did I say? Minus font size divided by 2. Is that what I was originally trying to do? Nope. Oh, I'm stopped at the debugger. Derp. Okay, not perfect. Get rid of my debugger before that drives me nuts. Herp-a-da-derp. Thanks, Pat. That gets us the midpoint. Oh, and then it's right. It's plus font size divided by 2. Then also lower it by half the font size. There we go. So that's not quite at the right spot, but it's pretty close. The problem being that the font size isn't really the font size. Get font height. There you go. Oh, let's take a look at the code. What's the get font height? Get font height. What does Will do for get font height? Let's take a look. Should be interesting stuff at least. Okay, so document create element. So you create a span. That's funny. So you actually just leverage the DOM in order to figure out what the height's going to be because the canvas won't tell you. That's a creative way to do it. I wasn't going to worry terribly much about it. So what I will do is this. That is close enough as far as I'm concerned. I want to put this kind of in the middle. And the way I'm going to do that is this. So there's our measurement. The width is going to be 10 pixels on either. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't set the font size and everything yet. Helps if you set the font size first, huh? Because that's the size we need to use for the measurement. There we go. Okay, so we have a little bit of buffer, but otherwise press space to start. Boom, works, good enough. Okay, so now I actually want to respect that request that you're going to press space in order to start the game. So we need to actually wire that up. Now I could either wire up a different event handler, or wire up the same one and not worry about it. So I'm going to do this. Document, event handler, event key listener. Key code. Key code. Actually, if I go this route, then I need to do the other one, so... Do I have a separate key handler for that one? We could do this differently. So we're using a switch. We could do, what's it called? Like a data table driven development, that kind of thing, where we do that instead. So instead of wiring it up as a switch, we do this. We say, we make a collection. Essentially, we make an object that's that's basically a dictionary, because that's sort of how objects are in JavaScript. So let's make this. So I'm going to make constant, and we're going to make in-game key mappings equals an object, and we're going to call this start game key mappings, which I think is a clear enough name. And we're going to call this what's spacebar? Hang on. JavaScript. Well, actually, I should just be able to say key code spacebar. Space 32. So the code is going to be 32. So that means 32. 32 is going to be this dot start. No, this has to be defined in here then. I am derping. Let's do this. Hang on, let me get those names. I like those names. Right down here where the key map is, I'm going to say get this. It's going to return back the object that we want. Or I could just set it in the initial part. This is a tough one. Alright, we're going to do it at the beginning. We're just going to put it in the constructor for now. Sorry, constructor, you're getting messy. That's my mistake. Blame me, Mr. Constructor. Alright, so instead of that, we're just going to say this dot stay thirsty, exactly. Game key mappings, and that'll be start key mappings. This dot start key mappings, game key mappings. There we go. That does not need those. It needs an equals. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make, what did I say it was, 32? 32 be this dot start. And in this one, we are going to take these values. We're going to put them up here. So we're going to say 87 is rotate. And so is 38. And those are... And I'm fairly certain... Let me just do this. Up. W, which I don't think I need to put in there, but I think I can just do that. I think I can get away with that. Doop, 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 doop. Doop doop. So A and left move us left. Even though they are now map keys and are a different type. I think it'll still do it here. We'll find out in a second. If not, I still have the values and can easily switch them back. So if it does give us trouble with that, we can easily switch it. Which actually... So these are our basic movements. Right here. And welcome, Super Duper. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. And Stoolpenner. Greetings, Stoolpenner, welcome. Yeah, we've been streaming for not terribly long so far. Okay. So there we go. That's what it looks like switched to an object. There might be a way to make those mappings a little bit nicer, but I'm not thinking of a way to do that. Yeah, super duper, that's a good one. I like it too. Okay, so then that one there, these. We'll see how that works. I might actually have to do them as the letter, but we'll debug that and watch how it goes. So let's do this. Keymap equals That's funny, I have them flipped. I totally derped those names. Okay. I want to start it out with it being the start key mappings. So there's the initial object, and then all we do is in start, we go the other way. And actually, let me do this. We'll initialize with that one. So we'll assign this value here, and we're going to switch this inside of the start method. So now the key mappings are the game key mappings, and so then the key down can be the same one. So we'll actually wire it up there. So key mappings will begin right there. They will be turned on, and then we'll do that. And then if the game stops ever, we'll turn it off. But realistically, we don't really want to turn them off at that point. switch to other map. So I think we want to switch it instead. Okay, so that ought to work. Alright, so the game's sort of starting anyway, which is kind of derpy, but that's fine. So let's find out. So what do? So down here, we initialize the game, and when we initialize, we come in here, we add an event listener for this key down. Oh, these are running, right. Let's do that. Those need to be, we need this to know that these are methods. So I'm going to put this in here for now and just make sure that it's clear that this is the method and it shouldn't actually run. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? Just remove these. I may have to tell it to bind these though. That's my one concern. I might have to bind these. Nope. Yep, it's complaining I'm gonna have to bind them. So rotate is undefined. It doesn't know what that is. So I'm gonna do this for now. It's not ideal, but we'll bind them in a minute. Okay. So now it creates this, and pressing space doesn't do anything yet. Yeah, exactly. So yes, Will, you are correct. I can just fat arrow them, which I did. I did. Okay, so I need to actually use these. We're not using it yet. So down here, I just want to say this dot keymap for event dot keycode. This should get me back a method I can run. So I'm going to attempt to just call it like that. And for now, we're going to comment out this whole switch statement and see what happens. Good luck, us. Oh, aside from space pulling us down, that seemed to work. Okay, so the arrow keys work. We just need the letters working again because the type doesn't match. Okay, so that's fine. It didn't like what I tried to do. It didn't like my cheating. But I can fix that. We'll just go back to the numbers. So 87 instead of W. Actually, is there a way to convert that to the integer? Horkrine, hey, welcome. Wait, hang on, what's going on? What is this? Horkrine, I have no idea. I have no idea. Fat arrow takes, what is the benefit of binding over the fat arrow? Fat arrow takes care of capturing this for you, and you don't run into problems with accidentally creating multiple bound instances. Yeah, but you also have to create the object. It's a different type of object, but yeah. You don't want to do it as part of a loop because you'd be recreating it multiple times. Assassin10, welcome. Horkrine, feel free to ask your C# question. The downside is each arrow function is attached to each instance. Yep, see, as Will says. So, there you go. What is this? Code at character. Oh, it's character code at index of the string, right? Because it's working at the... Right. Okay, so I would always just pass in 0. So I could do this, that, 0? Or is it going to complain about that? Expected that? No? Okay. What did I say? W was 87? So 87. 65, 83, 68. 65, 83, 68. Let me get rid of that. I'm not terribly concerned with those getting hard-coded. They are literally just keyboard. Yep, they seem to work. So I transferred them correctly, and the game starts when I press space. Now, the problem that I'm sure you all noticed when I did that is that the screen toggles down when you press the space bar, which I might be able to disable that so we don't get that behavior, because it's kind of annoying, to be honest. Well, that sucks. Anyway, so now the game doesn't start right off the bat, so that's cool. Horkrine, you're working on some websites in ASP.NET Core, MVC, C#, etc., and you want to store. And want a store like an e-commerce kind of store. Any ideas on payments? Like, do you just use a gateway? You can just use a payment gateway. That's one way to wire it up, although you'll want to be cautious of that. For a lot of things, if you just want to build basic e-commerce sites, there are actually a lot of solutions that already do that. They're basically CMS systems, so I would take a look at one of those first rather than creating one from scratch, because there are a lot of intricacies to building a store that have a lot to do with security that you'll need to be cautious of. We do those often as experiments, because occasionally for some businesses they do need some custom functionality that is store-like, and you don't get to just use the off-the-shelf. But for most people, I would recommend you grab an off-the-shelf CMS solution that has e-commerce in it. There are a lot of great ones out there. You can do dynamic keys instead by bracketing around it. Yes. Thank you for the suggestion of how to make that work, Specimen. Very security focused, so I am okay with that, but when it's a commercial product, I would rather go with risk transference. Yes, exactly, Horkrine. That's why I recommend that. So I just recommend being very, very careful when you're dealing with financials. But yeah, if you've got a handle on it, go for it. Regarding payments, yes, you can just go straight through to a payment gateway, and that is a way to do it. Okay, so I want a different one instead of that. So let's say instead of space, we're going to do enter. So JavaScript key code enter. $13. And you know what? I'm going to start if you hit space also. So we'll say on screen display, press enter to start. There we go. Looks good. See, and I can make a nice left well there. So there I've got a well that's already ready for a line piece to go in, and we're pretty good. Not that I'm actually good at Tetris, because I really am not. As you can tell from how badly I'm playing right now. Just did not get the pieces I was looking for ever. Derp. Anyway, let's see. Rubik's, 6 months. You are out of that egg. Welcome, and congratulations on fully hatching. You are an adolescent dinosaur here on DevChatter. Can we get some hype in the chat for a 6-month resub from Rubik's? That is awesome. And welcome. Light Skin Kanye, you and your friend have an amazing app idea that's going to make you billions of dollars. That's awesome. Yes, the number of app ideas that could make billions are, well, let's just say a lot of people have them. But no, Kanye, I don't think I'm in on that one. But thank you for thinking of me for that. Okay, so we now have a start screen. That's not the worst thing. Let's go ahead and see what our commits are. What's our change? What do we got? And I do want to mention to anyone who is watching the stream that if you are interested in contributing to this project, you actually can. Notice I'm committing it out to GitHub now. All the source code for all the projects we do here on the stream are out on GitHub. So you are welcome to contribute to them if you would like to. So, there we go. Actually, you know what? I want to change that text. There we go. Not bad. Okay, so this is adding a start screen. We'll call this start and end. We'll say start and end. To kind of get the idea across, this is our start and end game branch, so that's what we're going to put in here. Adding a start screen, and we can mess with that in a little bit. We're not pushing it. We're not merging it in yet. So any changes we want to make, I'm good with. Hence why I'm willing to just toss it in there without really considering it. You think you've got enough going on, Brennan? Don't need to. Exactly, Pat. So I will, if people want to pay me to build apps, I build apps for money. I totally do that. It's fun. Super generic question, but any laptop recommendations? Depends a lot on the money you want to spend and what you want to do with it. Different types of development require different machines. I know a lot of people that are fans of Surface laptops. There are a lot of laptops I've used that I really like. I personally like having a touchscreen laptop so that if I don't have a mouse with me, I can do that. XPS machines and MacBooks are both great for development. So, and Nilox, you can use ASP.NET Core on a Mac. It runs actually very well. You just use VS Code, which is the editor I'm using here on my Windows machine. Works exactly the same way. It's quite nice. I mean, obviously, instead of having, you know, the Windows style buttons, you'll have the Mac ones. But other than that, it runs the same. So the .NET Core code runs on a Mac just fine. You just install the SDK over there instead of the one that I use. So instead of the Windows SDK, you use the Mac SDK, and should work out well for you. It's all console based, so nice and easy to run. The new MacBook Pro gives me headaches. Well, there you go, Fuel Snable. That is always one of the challenges. The new machines don't always do things the way we want them to. Okay. White space tweaks. Tweak white space. I'm occasionally willing to do one of those commits. I don't feel like doing it the right way. And actually, that should be enter, and that should be space. I should definitely put those in. Comments for the key codes. Which I could put them as variables, but I don't see the need for those ones. I could put, if I did that, I would put it in a separate file. Actually, that would not be a bad idea, making a file of constants for those. That could be useful. Maybe I'll extract that out as a shared library for all of our game jams, so any that use JavaScript can just reference that. Okay, we need to allow an end game. So, endgame. The Fable. It really depends on the organization, what country you're in, things like that. Where are you in the world? It depends on many things. And light skin Kanye is not correct. 6 figures unless you're bad is not true. It depends on the industry you're in, where you are in the world, all those kinds of things. So it moving the commented code. There we go. The Fable, where in the world are you? Because that's the first question. Because I mean, one of the things is there are places even within the country that I'm in where my same house would cost at least 4 times as much money. So cost of living varies a lot, and that also then changes the amount of money that the developers make as well. So if you live in a very expensive place, you're going to start off as a junior developer with a very high salary. Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how much money developers make in Ukraine. I don't have knowledge on that one, so I can't get you a guess on that one. Junior developers are usually paid well compared to most other jobs, though. So developers in most places are paid well. Okay. So anyway, I want to make sure, where do we create our piece? New piece. Right here. This is where we do new piece. It's done moving, add new piece. If this piece has already collided, that's where we want this to suddenly fail. This is a question you can ask on Quora. Well said, Fuel Snable. That's good, Pat. Glad to hear it. Exactly. So one of the funny things, Voight mentions needing more performance to be able to run some of the stuff that he's running. I am running a desktop here. This is not a laptop I'm using. I use desktops for my primary development machines, and I use laptops whenever I am not at a desktop. With how well things have come for like version control and everything like that, it is actually way easy to use multiple machines if you need to. So okay, so let's say this dot check for endgame. I'm going to do that. We're going to check for endgame. Welcome, Mabaclick. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. So we will stop if this stunt happens. Okay, so I'm actually just going to do this. I'm just going to check for endgame right after we add the piece. So check for endgame when we add a new piece. And let's underscore check for endgame that. So I'm going to say underscore check for endgame. And here's what we're going to look at. I want to say this dot piece. Mabaclick, hello, greetings, welcome. This dot piece. Blocks some. If there are some blocks where this dot block manager. What's its check called? Has at location. Okay. If essentially we're saying if we have any of that. Let's say const collision equals I'll rename that in a second. So if collision, then we want to say this dot stop. So I guess I could just take this whole thing and not even worry about the collision variable, and we'll just inline it. Alright, what's everybody saying in chat? 15 an hour is nice in Ukraine. No, that blue stuff. No, no, no. It should not return true. But we'll find out. Maybe it does. Let me toss a debugger down here. We'll take a look at runtime. What happens? So let's bring out this. Whoop. Really? So when we get our new piece, we should catch the debugger. So here's our new piece. Step. We did not go in. Okay. Alright, so before we do that again, I'm going to remove our debugger, and I'm going to refresh. Enter to start. Let's find out. So let's just make sure I can get a couple of new pieces first. Yep, looks like I can get a couple of new pieces. Okay, now let's see if we can fail. Oh, something weird happened. Something weird happened. I'm gonna drop a debugger there. I do want to know that we got in that point. Things might not have worked correctly once we actually did that. I've never tried stop before. Look at that. The pieces start coming in all funny. We didn't actually get in there. That's weird. Weird. Oh, there was an error. Oh, hang on. I wasn't watching. You have a question for me. Mabaclick, is it hard for a web developer to change his career and be a data scientist? That I don't know. So developers tend to be able to change careers relatively easily because we're involved in so many different domains. One of the big things for switching into any other career is being sure that that you actually have the qualifications to be able to do the job. So That's the big thing. Go ahead and drop these real fast. And then I'm going to drop a breakpoint right there when I get to the top. Okay, so I'm at this point. So what do we have? Piece, blocks, sum, array. Okay. Okay, what are the blocks? Because it didn't tell me what the X and the Y actually are. So they're 3 and 0 on that one. So they really do have their coordinates, right? They're all at 3 and 0. Why are all the blocks at 3 and 0? Why did it jam all the blocks together? Alright, I'm going to leave the breakpoint there no matter what. We're going to watch this. So we get a new piece. Dang it. That's the problem with having that held down. Okay, those all look right. Those are all relative positions. Continue on. Okay. Look at those. Those are all relative positions. Looks good. Continue to the next piece. This one, we're going to continue on again. That one's getting us really close. That one should still not have a block, and now we might be overriding with something. So that's false. Let's see, did it fit? Ooh, okay, so it did fit, sort of. That block fully fit in there because it wasn't a long piece. Now this block should not fit. So whatever piece this is, it should not fit here. All of its positions are zeros. Why did it come in as zeros? Why is it coming in as zeros? What's going on? This is confusing. Let's see. As a data scientist, I would think you would be expected to have some experience in statistics, mathematical modeling, and tools that are common in that domain. Yep. Going into data engineering, where I work now, is likely easier for most developers as that is closer to normal development. Hey, good info there, Fuel Snable. That's awesome. Why did the piece get created with its blocks in these places? It couldn't rotate. Because I wrote it as an initial... Because we did the rotate. Oh, man, that's an insidious bug. I just figured out what's going on. Okay. So you may remember from the previous stream the way that we built the pieces. Okay, this was cool. I apologize for that moment. I was having to read that to figure out what was going on. No, light-skinned Kanye, I do not. Before changing your career, check out what data science is. That should give you an idea. The problem is data science is not well defined, and it is versatile and requires multiple disciplines. AAV, awesome. Great info there. Great info. Okay, so here's the challenge. Here's what we did. When we created our blocks, we create blocks, and watch what we do. We call rotate. So the idea was we created all the blocks at 0, 0, and then we called rotate to give them their initial position. See, they're all created with 0, 0. So let's do this instead. So we're going to set the initial rotation index to 0. We're not going to do a rotation to start. So that means that we need to grab the blocks. So these are the locations. So we'll call this the locations. So we grab that, we use the rotation index. We say const location equals locations for our index, and block location should get us, it's an xrel and a yrel, so we're gonna say location dot xrel and location dot yrel. So we're no longer cheating, we're not doing the rotate at the beginning to save ourselves from duplicating the access of those values within our code, but this should resolve the issue. So I'm going to refresh the page just to be sure we get the right one. And let's just slam all the pieces down. Okay, so it's clearly overlapping. We're not doing the 0, 0 thing anymore, but we're definitely not stopping at the point that we're supposed to stop. We do call this dot stop, and apparently this dot stop doesn't actually stop the game, because check for endgame needed to return to tell it not to continue. So here's the problem. Let me explain. So when we got in here, not in here, we did a check for endgame, and if you look up here, we checked and didn't do anything based on that. So because of that, we still came down here and we added to the game loop. We want to make sure that we're in the next game loop at the beginning. So we want to be prepped to jump in on the next frame. Now when we cancel, it should actually stop it. So let's give this a try. We're going to do a refresh. We're going to add in the piece, and I'm going to just drop a bunch of blocks. And we stopped. So there we go. It's no longer creating the blocks. So woohoo. You'll notice frames per second isn't updating. Nothing else is updating. We got our game over screen. So let's display game over. Okay, so in our stop, we should do a game over. And actually, stop should probably be called, let's rename that. Instead of, let's rename start to start game. So there we go. And then let's rename stop to end game. So we'll fix those. So it'll be called end game now. So we'll call end game because I think that makes more sense than stop. So first thing we want to do is shut everything down. That's the initial thing. Stop animating and remove key bindings. Once we've done that, then I want to go to our screen display. So we're going to say this dot screen display, and we're going to say display show game over. Display game over. Display game over. Okay, cool. And we'll fix the key bindings when we do this as well. Being a data scientist engineer seems to involve a lot of unglamorous cleaning of data of low quality to data of slightly better quality. Yeah, as a fuel snable message right there. You gotta love it. We have a lot of awesome people here in DevChatter, so I like our group. All right, so let's do display. What did I call it? Game over. Display game over. I'm not going to clear the rectangle, I'm just going to draw right on top of it. Hey kitty, I have a kitty friend. That's always nice. Hi little one, hi. Okay, let's do this. Some of these values are going to need to get extracted because we're not going to want to reuse them like this. So we're gonna pull these in somewhere else. So instead of this, we're gonna say game over, and instead of this, it's gonna be just red. Let's see what that looks like. If we just write game over in red for now. We'll make it a little better later. Oh, and actually, let's make that font size bigger on the game over. I have a cat trying to climb my leg. Let's just drop all these pieces. No, we didn't get our game over. Did I not call that? I thought I called that. Oh, wait, this screen display game over. Yes, cat. We often have a cat stream. If you're new to DevChatter, my cat will. Ooh. Line 84. What? Oh, if you press any key that's not one of the ones it knows, it complains. Right. Because we gotta actually have the function there. That was derpy on my part. Sorry about that, everyone. I didn't write this code correctly. So this is if key handler is not equal undefined, undefined, there we go, then key handler execute. Okay. Herpaderp, herpenderp. Okay, so we're no longer getting the complaints in the console when I press keys that are not the ones mapped. But we still didn't get the game over, because this is where it should show the game over, but it did appear to stop, and we're not getting the other error anymore. Yeah, I can just do this and just say if we got the key handler, and it'll do that, because it will convert that into a false if it was undefined. But I like this. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Anyway, what's I gonna do? Endgame. I want to go over here, and I want to go to sources, and I want to drop a thing there on endgame and see what happens. So we get here, say screen display end game, and now we want to step into that. So we get here, display game over. There's our text, is game over. Mishi? I'm guessing? Welcome, thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Rubik's, yes, a newbie kata. I would recommend you look at FizzBuzz if you're looking for a newbie kata. That is one of the best ones. And yes, Parathon, explicit code is generally easier to read. Why didn't it draw that rectangle? Hype, hype! There you go. Yeah, you just gotta wait for the cooldown to finish. We just don't want those like flying over the screen all the time, so there's a 2-minute cooldown. That's weird. That should have drawn. That really looks like it should have drawn. Unless we're still drawing the other loop. You know what? Here, I'm gonna check for it this way. I want to make sure I'm not calling that. So when we catch that loop, so here we go. So we're gonna stop at endgame, and now I'm gonna jump over to the screen display and make sure that we don't redraw over here. So I do not want to draw any pieces there. I don't want to be drawing the background. I don't want to be calling clear canvas. I don't want to be drawing individual blocks. I don't want to catch any of those breakpoints. So it's still drawing and clearing the canvas. We didn't stop the animation. Oh, it's probably calling the one last time. Okay, well, alright, I'm not going to do it the way that I tried to do it then. In that case, we're just going to... So check for will return. So check for endgame will... endgame and return false. Return true. Otherwise, it'll return false. At which point, we don't even have to do this, so we could just return the result of that. So I'm just going to return this. Oops. So that's all we're going to do for check for endgame. Yeah, that could be there. That could be there, Pat. Because you didn't pick one, it assigns one to you, but I don't think he's actually in the game. So I think it then because I think it did the first check and then it did a money check, so it's kind of weird. We could fix that at some point. By the way, that's open source, so you could fix that if you wanted. What was I doing? I was saying check for endgame. Let's say is endgame, because we're no longer really checking for it. Is game over? So that's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna say if is game over, return without doing that, but first call this dot endgame. then we'll return. Drop all the pieces straight down onto the bottom. Game over! Hey, hey! We got it! Awesome. Okay. Display game over screen. So there's some other ways we could have done that. We could have just set a bit and checked that at the beginning of the loop that runs it. But again, that's stuff we can clean up in a little bit. We just want to get that working, because now it does work. We know that it works. We can build some other things based on that, like the ability to start the next game instead of just sitting on that screen. I also want to get us to points, because points are another great thing that we want to have happen. Game over, man. Game over. Instead of removing this, we can just switch the key maps to the other one. What happens if I just do that? Let me find out. Looks like it already works. That's kind of neat. Cool. So now we just need to tell people that they can press start to do the next one. Allow restarting game. Cool. I call that a win right there. And I know there are some new people here, so I figure I'll mention it. All the code that we do here on the stream is actually out on GitHub. You can find all that code at github.com/devchatter. In addition, if you want to make sure... What perfect timing! If you want to make sure that you get notified when our streams go live, because we actually do 4 streams a week here, best way to do it is to do what our good friend, I am going to guess... Well, I might shorten to Re. I don't know, but let me know how to pronounce that name and I will try to say it. But you want to make sure you follow the stream. So following us here on Twitch is the best way to get notified when we go live, and you can catch our streams. So, quick update for anybody that wasn't here at the beginning. I do want to talk a little bit about what streams we have coming up. So on Monday, we are actually going to have a stream with a guest. So up in that corner up there is going to be our good friend David. He's one of the ASP.NET monsters. We're going to do some ASP.NET Core coding in C# and JavaScript. We're going to be working on one of our web projects, so that should be fun. Look forward to that on Monday. And then I'm not sure about exactly what the plan is for the rest of next week. I do know that we will be canceling next Saturday's stream, so this coming week we'll have a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Thursday stream, but we will not have the Saturday stream. And I may start the Tuesday stream early. Be on the lookout for that, but there will still be a stream. In addition, if you are one of the people here that is interested in any kind of development discussions, you want to talk with other developers, which of course you do, that's why you're here. But maybe you don't want to talk to them in person, face-to-face. One of the best ways to talk with other developers is to join our Discord, which is a chat application. I have linked to it down there. It's also down below the stream. And in Discord, you can chat with me and the other developers here that are the viewers. We have over 400 people in our Discord, so That doesn't mean everybody's always talking all the time. In fact, they usually aren't. But there are a lot of people that you can chat with, you know, if you want to just discuss coding stuff. So it's a cool place. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this. So we allow starting and ending the game. I kind of want to make this display a little nicer, or tell the user that they can press enter to start. So maybe we'll display both of these. We'll display the start screen too. Sure. When you get a game over, we'll display the start screen, and then I'll just make these not line up. Display the start screen. The Fable. So I actually am an independent consultant, so the time that I'm not streaming, I am billing to my clients. So I do work for various projects, and I also do mentoring work. So if anybody out there does want me to come and work with you or your team, I do actually do mentoring work, so I essentially pair program with you and your team and try to help you become better developers. So, yep, that's one of my big things. I will mention, though, I would love to be a full-time streamer, but it just doesn't pay the bills. So if at some point I could figure out how to make streaming full-time, that would be really awesome, and I would love to do that. So let's move that so the game over shows up higher, and then we can press start to do that. So so this is just kind of hard-coded in here right now, but the y coordinate, we want that to just be higher. So divided by 3. Let's see if that works. Game over. Press enter to start. Boom. Okay, that's good enough. I don't like the colors. I don't like the way it displays. It looks kind of cruddy, but it works, and that's what really matters. Okay, so we are going to display. Let's see. Show. Give instructions. And end game screen. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to send that up, and we're going to take a look at that up here, because I kind of want to pull request that in and put that as part of the master branch. Again, this isn't like a, this isn't the production website. There's no one depending on this. Add start and end screens. So I kind of want to bring that in, and I want to start adding points. That's the next big thing that I want to add to our project. So there's no build process. These are static HTML sites, and I don't have the unit tests on that. So feel free to yell at me about that, because I should be doing it. T Consulting, you really liked my tips about auth0.com yesterday. Do you have any other tips regarding how to use, how to ease the development flow? Oh man, there's a million of them, T Consulting, but auth0 is one nice way to not have to deal with authentication yourself. There are actually a lot of other services that will take care of some of that work for you. Just things that are essentially developer crud that you have to put in all your applications. One of them is to just use scaffolding stuff to get you the basics, and then you can, work off of that. Using existing frameworks helps with a lot of things. A lot of teams underestimate the value of using a CMS for stuff. So if your website really does have a lot of custom functionality, then yeah, okay, you need to do full custom development. But if you're mostly a brochure site and you want people to be able to make just basic modifications, a lot of times an out-of-the-box CMS is a better solution than hiring a bunch of developers to do all the work for you. We're expensive. Display information on the screen. Allow game over when no pieces, and start game with a button press. These are both closed. How do I close these? I ticked the box. So mark as closed. Okay. So we now need to display information on the screen, and really the big thing here is, in addition to this, I also need to actually calculate the points. So right now, all I did was just, I didn't bind these or anything like that. We should potentially just pull in view or something like that and do some basic bindings of some values or something. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just calculate these in the back, and we will figure that out. So maybe I just want to make like a game state kind of thing. So we'll do game state. JS. And then for this, we will export game state constructor. What do we need? We need this dot is running equals false. This dot points equals 0. Yeah, no problem, T Consulting. Yep, we have been going for an hour and 45 minutes-ish. Flips. Let's see. We need the rows. What's the other information we display on this page? Points, rows, pieces. I'm cool with giving the total number of pieces, and this dot, so let's call it the drought length. You know what, I'm not even going to count the drought yet. We'll figure that out later. We'll do that one later. We don't even have these yet. So let's do this basic set of information here. And let's make a couple of little helpers. So what do we want to say? Start. And actually, let's make a reset. And that's how we're going to reset. When you create it, it's just going to call reset. And that's our initialize. Okay. So this is running false. When you start the game, this dot is running equals true. And this dot is running false. Let's say removed rows. And we'll say row count level, because maybe you get more points for more rows and higher levels. Hey, Tiggy Fave, welcome. Let's say, because we want to track pieces, we'll say record piece. Yeah. Helps if you learn how to type first, Brendan. Okay, so what did we track? We have a piece count, rows clear. So this is, yeah, that's rows cleared, actually. And let's say cleared rows. So this dot rows cleared plus equals row count. So there's what we're doing there. This dot points plus equals points to add, and const points to add equals 1. We'll just say row count. Yeah, we'll just say row count times row count for now. $1,000 points. Okay, so that's points to add right there. Row count is the row count. We're not dealing with level just yet. Actually, times level. There we go. We'll just multiply by level. There's our points. Record a piece. We're just going to have this do this dot pieces. Actually, let's do that. Let's not keep the pieces. Let's keep just call this piece count for now. We'll say piece count plus plus. Okay. Tiggy Fave, awesome. You like my Learn to Code in C# videos. I'm glad you like them. And welcome to the stream. We're doing a little bit of JavaScript today. It's going to look a lot like C#, but don't worry, I will be doing some more Learn to Code in C# episodes in the future. Because of the holidays coming up, I'm actually going to be scheduling those for January probably. But you can check out the link I posted in chat for more information when we're going to do those. If you want to actually show up and follow along, then you are welcome to. Actually, anyone's welcome to, really. These are open to the public, so if you want to learn how to code or know someone that does, feel free to send them along. So there's our start, end, clear rows, record pieces, and I think all those make sense, and we'll just pass around game state then. So let's go over into here, duplicate that, we're going to say piece, and this is going to be game state.js. So now we're going to have a game state object that we're going to keep track of, and let's create it when we in the constructor. So we'll just hang on to it right from here. So we're going to say this dot game state equals new game state. I did not mean to close that, although I don't need it open. So yeah, why not? Let's get rid of it. Goodbye. So we're going to get a new game state object, and when we start a game, I will reset the game state. And we'll start it. Okay, how far does the tutorial go? Because you have, I think, 9 episodes, but I'd like to know how much I'll be learning and what I can make with it. So Tiggy Fave, there are like 9 episodes. The first 7, though, are different from the second 2. So the first 7 are a series that I go through, and I did that, and I actually then reset on the 8th episode, so we started from scratch again. With a guest, so I actually have a learner that's in the top corner that is going along with us. So episode 8 and 9 are back from the beginning again. We do some basic things in console applications for most of the episodes. Coming up soon in our restarted version, I will be doing some web development pretty soon, so we're gonna teach that. The challenge there is that in addition to learning C#, we have to start learning a little bit about HTML and how web dev works. So that adds a little bit of complexity, which is why I don't want to jump into it too fast, because a lot of the concepts of programming can be obtained through console applications. So it's one of those things, it's not as exciting to do console apps, but you can do some fun things. We make some basic games and that sort of thing. Do I have any tutorials on sockets or client-server programming? I don't have any specifically on those. The closest thing we've got is that some of our episodes we use SignalR, which is not exactly the same thing, but it is it's essentially a framework that allows us to not have to choose the transport that we want to use. So it lets us, for example, use WebSockets to communicate between a client and a server application. So we actually use it in a number of places in our code here that we use on the stream, both to talk between a JavaScript website and a C# web server, as well as one of our projects uses a C# client to talk to a C# web server. So it's actually kind of cool. So we have done some of that stuff, DX. So we just do a lot of coding here. If people are interested in seeing coding, we are a great place to watch that. We just do a variety of stuff from whatever the interesting project is that we want to do. So if you keep learning, will you be able to earn any money from it because you enjoy it so far? So Tiggy, so I will tell you that the journey to actually becoming a professional developer is going to take you a while. So if you are actually interested, you can, through learning on your own, eventually get a job as a programmer. One of the more traditional paths is to learn a lot of coding on your own, and then I enter a boot camp or something like that, so they help with job placement afterwards. So I do know some people that go that route. You do not have to do that. You can just learn and then go try to get a job out of it. I don't know what your age or situation is or anything like that, but yes, a lot of people do have programming jobs without a traditional like college degree in computer science or similar. Tiggy Fave, there are programs that specialize. Essentially, you go there and you learn 40 hours a week or something. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that for like 12 weeks, and then at the end of it, they try to place you at a company. So they'll essentially like line you up with one of the companies that wants to hire junior developers that are coming out of their programs. So those exist in the U.S. I don't know if they're everywhere around the world, but they've become fairly common. And amount of time varies. Sometimes it's 8 weeks, sometimes it's 16 weeks, sometimes it's 12 weeks, but the goal being like really quickly teach you a whole bunch of programming stuff and then toss you into the workforce where you will learn the rest of it. It's a very neat concept. RIP. Reset is not defined. What? Did I not call it? Did I call it reset? What? Oh, derp. Yeah, that was my bad. Okay, continue that. There we go. Alright, great. The game still seems to work. Fantastic. So game state is here. It creates. Let's use it. We got a new piece. So let's make an internal method that does that new piece thing. Let's hide that away. So get new piece. Because we're going to add next piece, we're going to want to show that. So there's going to be some extra logic that goes in with new piece getting anyway. So we're going to say const piece equals new piece, and we're gonna say game state dot record piece, and we're gonna say this dot piece equals piece, right? Oh, and I need to pass the block manager into the piece. That's right. Okay. This dot underscore get new piece. And I want to do the same thing up here now when we create our first piece. Okay, there we go. You're in the UK. Not sure if you have them. Tiggy Fave, you might actually. Oh, Tiggy, I will not be streaming in an hour, so have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on Monday for some more streaming. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Okay, so that's getting our new piece. So I don't want it to be called get new piece, even though I called it that. I want to rename that. We're gonna say set new piece. I think that makes more sense, because we really are just we're setting the new piece. Okay, I know I cleared rows somewhere. Where did I clear rows? Where do we clear rows? Is that inside of... ooh, that's inside of the block manager, isn't it? Clear complete rows, rows to check. We call it here. It returns back the row count. Okay, you're getting game state. It gets the game state object, because we're gonna do this. Const row count equals that. Dots. What is it called? It is called cleared. Why don't we say record cleared rows? So record cleared rows, row count. I have no idea what level it is, so level is just 1 for now every time. We're not actually doing anything with the piece, but I know that I will eventually, because I know what I want to do with the game, even though we don't have everything built yet. I know some of the concepts that I'm going for. So let's see what we can do with this. Crash. Oh, I didn't pass it in. Derp. Yep. See, there you go. Block manager. This dot game state. Okay, so now I want to pause the game, and I'm going to do that by dropping that there, and I want to say this dot game state points 1,000, rows cleared 1, perfect, and piece count is 4, so that looks good. So it is tracking the game state as we play. Yay! Actually, I just realized I started adding this here. This should be a new branch. Did I ever merge that other stuff in? Let me go do that real fast. Pull requests. New pull request. Do I still have that? No, I don't have that branch anymore. There we go. Switch over to this one. Pull that. New branch, Benric. stat record record keeping. Record keeping. Create branch for record keeping. Okay. Adding basic game state management. Exactly, Pat. Yay! we got that working. So that's pretty cool. What that means, though, is that I can now set that object, and we could, for example, set up Vue.js to actually be auto-updating. So as we change these values in here, it could be filling them in automatically, and you could see as the game progresses that data going in there. Yeah, so Pat, it actually works reasonably well. GitHub Desktop is not a bad one. What I like about it is that it has a fairly clean UI, and I love that you knew which Git GUI I was using there. It works reasonably well with GitHub, and its UI is clean, which I like for streaming, because it makes it so that people are not confused by it, and I run it specifically just for this stream. So that means it's not cluttered up with my projects that are non-stream related. So any side projects I do on this machine that are not on DevChatter are not in there. Extra Jordan, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Greatly appreciated. Pat, yeah, I'm mostly a command line guy, actually. So anyway, I'm going to hit a couple of buttons for everybody with some links in the chat. For relevant stuff that I think you all should check out. So start game, we're going to do a reset of that, and then we're going to start the game state. Update, so it is tracking points. We could display those right away, just as the game runs. Or in theory, I could just wire up Vue to actually just show them right now. What do we do? Vue.js CDN. We're gonna go grab Vue. Parathon, is git fork a command that does a fork of a Git repository in some way? Because that's what it sounds like. Okay, so we have this. I am going to bring in a script with a source of that from my clipboard, and boom. I should now have Vue on this page, and now that we've got it, I want to figure out how to get that value. Hey, Dev Wars, welcome. Thanks for that. Thanks for that raid. Welcome, everyone. Glad to see you all here. Hi. Can we get some hype in the chat for all the new people? I will hit one, but let me get that one as well. I know we've got some of our subs are in here as well, but welcome everyone. Hey, greetings. Hopefully you're all having a good one. Hi. 7-Eleven. I like it. Nice. Welcome everyone. We are doing a little bit of JavaScript here on the stream. We're just doing a simple little Tetris game. We every once in a while just do one-offs where we just grab some code and just write some things. We're wiring up Vue.js right now so that we can display the data of our game. So we have a little object that's doing a game state, and that's what we're setting up there. Welcome everyone. Thanks for those follows. Much appreciated. What were you guys working on over on Dev Wars today? I'd love to hear about it. And welcome everybody. Feel free to get settled in. We are just doing a little bit of coding here, so I wanna wire this up. So I am actually gonna make Oh, so I need something for this. You know what? I'm really tempted to just... So, I'm not running Vue in this application yet. We're just wiring it in real fast. So, basically, I want to just sort of hack this in. I might just hard code in the Vue part real fast. With one of these, so I might just hack in this and then we'll add it in a minute. So and welcome everybody, thanks for those follows. CSS, JavaScript, HTML, crazy custom sliders. Greetings. For anyone that doesn't know, we mostly do C# here on this stream, but we do a lot of JavaScript as well. We do both. I should compete in your next Dev Wars game. Dev Wars, I could totally compete in your next Dev Wars game. I don't know what your game was, but yeah. Alright, no, we're gonna put it out where it goes. So let's do this. Inside of our Tetris.js, I will go ahead and create let view app equal, what is it? It's view or something like that, right? I forget what the syntax is for that, because I only ever create, it's a new view, I think. Which actually, if I'm going to do that, I need to make sure that is declared above the other one. And I'm going to say, you pass it an object, and it's something along the lines of the element is whatever the name of your main element is, which in this case, I have it as game, so game. January 5th, is that what you're saying, CP Live? Hey, welcome Cake, and welcome everyone, thanks for those follows, much appreciated. Welcome. If you are interested and you want to see any of the code we do here on the stream, it is out on GitHub. Everything here we do is open source. My name is obviously Brendan. Feel free to follow if you enjoy any of the stream. And we actually do have a Discord that's got like 400 some developers in it. So if you are interested in chatting with me or anybody else, that is a great place to do it. And no, right off the bat, you don't have any coins to start with, so you'll have to stay here and watch for a while in order to earn coins. And you do not need to understand the code we're doing, but feel free, follow along. Hopefully you enjoy some of it. Okay, so we have this. Let's see. So I want to bind the data to this. So I want to say something like data, and then I think I can tell it that my Tetris game, because that's actually what we set up here. I think I can say like game state. Actually, let's do this. Points is Tetris game state points. Let me try that. I'm going to do that initial one there, and then I want to see, can I just bind that value directly, now that we have that in there, can I just say points? I think I might be able to get away with this. Points. There we go. Let's see what it does. Where did I leave my, there it is. Wait, why didn't you give me any info there? So it didn't like view. So when view's on the page, it kills that. Let's try this. Is it just view totally nuking it? No, it's this. Something about that kills it. Welcome everyone. Thanks for those follows. Let me catch up on chat. Nope, nothing all that. Yes, Sergio, I have courses on Pluralsight, and I'm actually working on more courses for them. So feel free to take a look at those. So you can just search for my name on Pluralsight right down here. And there are also links down below the stream directly to my page on Pluralsight that has my courses. I don't know, my first course there was a bunch of years ago. Awesome, Sergio. Actually, you know what? I don't want to put it in game. Let's put it on info panel. Let's see if that's the problem. If I do that, maybe it won't complain. Hey, hey, info panel. That worked. Actually, I just realized I should try to actually clear a level first. Don't worry about the, not correct Tetris playing. Did my points go up at all? No, points remains at 0, but it's displaying that instead of, it is displaying a 0 instead of the double curly braces, so that seems better than not. So it is binding that. We're just not necessarily setting the value. So let's figure out why it's not setting the value that we expect it to. Why isn't the view panel opening? Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine, view. Go ahead and not work. That's okay. Tetris game state points. Right? That's what we want. Tetris game state points. So that's already been set. We never reassign this, do we? We shouldn't. What does reset do? Reset doesn't set it to a new thing, it just sets the value down to 0. Doesn't do anything weird. Why aren't those points increasing then? Yeah, so Cake, we are building some basic, just a little platform for playing a handful of games. So this is our Game Jams site, and actually this is available out on. You can actually just find this on GitHub. So we just have it here right now. We're gonna put some other games in it just for funsies. These are little one-offs. So if I ever don't feel like working on one of our long-term projects, I can just come here and just create a little game. They're not all going to be JavaScript. Part of the intention of these is that we want them to be little one-off games, and they could be JavaScript, they could be something else. So this one is JavaScript, but we're probably going to do one in Blazor at some point. We're probably going to use some that use a JavaScript game engine or something like that, and we'll do some more interesting ones. And I've actually got another one planned that I'm going to do before the end of the year, so it should be fun. Usually on the stream we're working on long-term projects, so our chatbot that actually runs in this server, that runs on our stream here, that is one of our long-term projects. And then, haven't heard of Blazor. So there's a couple of other projects. Yeah, so Blazor is a very interesting thing. So if you've heard of WebAssembly, Blazor is the C# using WebAssembly. So essentially, if you are a C# developer, you can run C# code that'll compile and run as WebAssembly in your browser. So that's actually the idea, is essentially leveraging the .NET framework and everything that comes with in order to do that. My cat is having fun moving my green screen a whole bunch, so let me fix that. Cat, you want to stop? Nope, he doesn't want to stop. Yeah, so occasionally the cat comes over and joins the stream too. Awesome, Cake. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff with it. So I was actually talking with one of our usual guests here, Guy Royce, and he wants to come on and do some WebAssembly stuff. Thanks, Will. Yeah. Okay. So, as I was saying, you can actually find our stuff out on the interwebs. So if you want to go play the games, they are literally right here right now. There's only the one that we're working on, but that's where they are because they're hosted through GitHub, which is part of the reason why we're building them as these static HTML pages because it works so nicely. So yep. Okay, so we want this view to actually bind. Why is that value not changing when we do that? I want to try this. Do I actually have access to the Tetris object? No. Okay, so I would actually have to be over here. The game state object is changing. This game state points equals wait, hang on. Vue.js bind data to object. There's something weird with the binding. Vue.js bind to complex object. Something else. No. I know what I'm looking for. I think. Oh, hang on. Yes, so there's actually a streamer, Ed Charbonneau, and we'll link to his stream there, and he actually does a Friday just news roundup about Blazor, so it's a really good stream. You should check it out. He's a good friend of ours. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so it blocks link. We block links. It's not exactly the one I want, because I want this to be... Yeah, because we need to detect the changes in that object. I need to call, like, view set or something like that. Does not allow dynamically adding new root level reactive properties to an already created instance. Cake, yeah, React and Viewer, they're going to work similarly. You're going to detect some of those differences. Sometimes you want to assign a number of properties to an existing object. For example, assign or extend however new properties added to the object will not trigger changes. Let me try this instead. I'm going to go this route. Thanks for the hype there, Janiscu. Much appreciated. Instead of wiring the value I did, how did I wire this up? I did points was that. Hey, Codair, welcome. Welcome everybody from Codair. Greetings. Hopefully your stream was good. I don't think we've chatted in a while. Okay, so points don't want to update. do that? Yeah. But if I check on my updates, this .game state, points is 2000. So points clearly updated, but the binding didn't work. Alfonso, hey. Oh, these. That's actually this. It's my headset. So, yep. I use a bone conductive headset. Yeah, what are those behind your glasses? Eyes? No, I assume you meant these. It's a bone conductive headset, so essentially you guys don't hear my music through my microphone, and computer doesn't have to deal with trying to remove that either. Which obviously it can if I wanted to, but I'd rather not bother with it, and I just use these. Works pretty well. Also makes it so that I don't have like big heavy things over my ears the whole time. So I like it. So, but what is that device around your head? Is it a bone conductive audio? Yeah, exactly, Cake. Yep, that was what people were asking. So, yeah, cool. Welcome everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Feel free to hit the follow button if you do enjoy what we're doing here. That's running. Why? I don't get why that's not showing. I thought view would just appear somewhere. Just assign viewApp.points to the updated value. Call viewApp.points equals new value. Yeah, yeah, so I can do it that way, but then I'm using that object the whole time, which I guess that could be the game state. Instead of that one. Sure. I mean, technically I could do this, right? I could just pass that in there, and then Tetris could take in the view app. Right? And then, and actually, when you do it that way, do you have to say viewApp.data.points? But then once I'm doing that, I'm into a weird problem. Because that's not exactly what I want to... Oh, whoops, I didn't want a semicolon there, but... So it just seems weird to do it that way. So... welcome everybody. Thanks for all those follows. Much appreciated. Because I'd rather have the data come from Tetris. So I'm going to go look at this again. Bind data from other object Vue.js. Janisco, I totally forgot about that quote. That is hilarious. Oh yeah, Codair. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can still write Tetris. It's easy. Update view set object properties events target right. So I have to set those values some different way. Codair, thanks for that Twitch Prime sub, much appreciated. Oh, you like our Tetris game? Yeah, it works pretty well. The challenge is I think I have to bind the property differently, which is really a bummer. I might just do something else. I might not do view on it. Just because it doesn't wire together as nicely as I wanted to, because this isn't the way I wanted to do it. So I'm going to toss view for now. We'll bring it back in again later if we want it. What I'm going to do instead is just put in the code to just update those values, because we know when we need to update them. So what I will do is this. I will just have game state. For now, I'm going to let it know about the info panel and these values. So ID equals points. ID equals rows, and I'll just set these for now. It'll wire together. We'll make it nicer later. I don't want to deal with that. We'll figure it out. And the line piece drought I haven't wired up yet, so points, rows, and pieces. So let's go just do that. Do I want to pass it in from out here? We'll say points, rows, and what was the last one? Points, rows, pieces. So, this dot, when all else fails, BFI? I don't know what his BFI means. Hey, Stoolpenner. Hype. This dot, let's call it, points display equals that. Let's call that rows display. I don't know if I ever told you guys about this, but there was an old website that I remember back in the day that I always found hilarious. I think it was called just give up and use tables, I think is what it was called. Give up and use tables. Is this what it was called? I think this is it. Nothing like going to websites on the internet without confirming them before you do that. Give up and use tables? What? There used to be a website that would it was this joke. It was this joke for people doing CSS and HTML and that sort of thing. The idea was you'd just go to this web page. There'd be a timer. Whenever you started working on a difficult problem with your CSS, trying to get the layout to work the way you wanted, you were supposed to start the timer, and when it completed, if you hadn't solved the problem yet, you were supposed to just give up and use tables. The joke being that we try not to use tables in displaying data in our programs, but then eventually it might just be like, you know what, you wasted so much time, you might as well just do it. Timer of tables? Okay, so maybe I was looking for the wrong thing, but either way, that's the joke. So let's say display data. We're just going to do this. It's not ideal. It doesn't work that great. It really is just a brute force approach. I'm going to do that. Points display dot inner text equals that. Dot inner text equals that. Dot inner text equals that. Okay. Andy, funny how devs were extremely scary of display tables after some time everyone agrees tables are quite a... Yeah, exactly, yes. For tabular data, I think everybody does agree that you can use tables if you want. In fact, they're in many ways better for, you know, data that's supposed to get displayed in a table. Let's see, so this is points. Actually, I just realized these should not be these, they should be backticks. Because I want to say points, and this dot points. So there we go. And this one is rows, and rows is going to be this dot rows. And this one is going to be pieces. And it's going to be $ this dot pieces count. So piece count, there we go. Now all I have to do to make this sort of a cheater little way to do this is just on update. Every once in a while, just update this value. So maybe when the piece would automatically move down, we'll also update the value. So it's every handful we update. I guess I could update every time. It doesn't really matter, so I'll do that. We'll just display data. It is going to get absurd. It's going to be refreshing so much, but hey, I just want to make it run. So we've got one piece. Bring that down. 2 pieces. 3 pieces. Drop that one there. We'll put that there. There's our first row. So points are displaying. Hooray. So as I said, the way that we did it is not great, but it works. Hey, stop with the blocks. So we can display the score, which is what matters the most right there. Okay, so cool. That definitely works. Simple data display. We're going to want to move it into a better spot, but hey, functional code. Flexbox. Yes, flex. And yes, Janisku, next piece is on our roadmap. We are going to be doing that. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to put a second canvas. I'm actually going to put another canvas over here, and then I'm going to move the information over here. So in our other canvas, we're going to do that extra piece. So Janisku, you mentioned that that's actually why this code is set up separately. So the set new piece, I broke this out because what we're going to do is create the next piece and display it. So we're going to have the next piece ready to go and showing over here. So that's actually what we're going to put there. And a couple of things I do want to make sure that I let everybody know. If you haven't yet, be sure to follow the stream so you get notified when we go live. Also, be sure to join our Discord. We really do have like 400 some developers over there in our Discord that are, other people interested in coding. So if you want to have other developers to chat with, that is a great place to do it. In addition, all the code that we do here on stream is open source. So thing for DevWars and Codair and anyone else who is a streamer, for example, if you are wanting to work on one of our projects, you are welcome to contribute to them as well. In fact, Codair, if you're still in here, the project that we're going to be working on Monday, because I want to tell everybody about this, I'm going to have a pair programmer here on Monday. So David is going to be up there. He's been on the stream before. He is one of the ASP.NET monsters. He's one of the 3 of those guys. He's really awesome, and he's going to be here working on our... he's going to help us with our Dev Streams project. So Codair and DevWars, if you are here, I'm building a web application that is going to help with scheduling streams and that sort of thing. So please do check it out. Feel free to contribute. I do want to get that set up and working nicely. I think it's going to be awesome for the developer streaming community. So Codair, definitely check it out because I think it's something you're actually going to like a lot. Because that's one of the big things for me. I did a bonus stream I did a bonus stream yesterday because I was chatting with my people in Discord, and they were like, "Hey, Brendan, you should do a stream on Friday." And I was like, "Well, I can actually." So I decided to do a bonus stream on Friday. And then even when I was trying to do it, I was like, "Oh, wait, that's right. Ed's stream is at noon, so I will do it after that." The problem is I then overlapped with Gareth. So I was like, if I'd seen the schedule, I would have, tried to time it differently. But it worked out fine. But it'd be nice if there were a place where I could see what streams are coming up on any given day so I can plan my streams and try not to overlap. So that's the goal. Feel free to submit any pull requests, issues, suggestions, anything like that. And that goes for anybody. You don't have to be a streamer for that, but I know that the other dev streamers would be interested. So I want to get something set up like that. It should be super valuable for the viewers. Maybe you're saying, hey, I'm going to have some time to watch a stream this weekend. Who's streaming? And you can just go look and see like which streams are going to be there. So for now, we're setting it up so the streamer just manually enters that in. In the future, we might try to do some kind of predictive approach where we say, we think so-and-so is going to do one here, because that's when they usually do it. But there's lots of complexity and interesting stuff to add to the project. Either way, a couple of things I want to mention. If you are someone that has enjoyed the stream at all today, be sure to catch us on Monday, because I do 4 streams here a week on DevChatter: Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and Saturday. Andy, yes, it is. So I want to mention to everybody that you can catch our videos here on the video section on Twitch. We also have an archive of all of our older videos on YouTube, including a lot of other great stuff. In addition, if you want to follow me on Twitter, links over there as well as down below. I want to give a couple of nice shout outs here. So I want to get a shout out to Code Air. So thanks Code Air for the raid today. And then I also want to get a shout out for Dev Wars. So those are 2 other coding streams that you can check out. So if you are interested, go look at those, follow them. It's good stuff. Code Air is a good friend of ours here, has been around for a while, and we like Code Air. And Dev Wars as well. That's definitely something that we're going to be interested in participating in as well. So we'll see about that one. I'm not sure the details on that, but as I said, we'll see you back on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. I am going to roll a handful of credits before we wrap up, because that's what we do here. We make sure that we thank people that actually help out with stuff, because we love our viewers, our fans, everything like that. So, first off, I want to thank our moderators for helping out. So, Greendolf, Stoolpenner, thank you for hanging out, as well as all of our followers that we got today. So, everybody that hung out, chatted, whether you were just viewing, either way, we really appreciate it. You guys make this fun, and I'm looking forward to coding with all of you again in the future. Rubix and Codair, thank you very much for the subs today. Rubix with the 6-month resub, and Codair with the coming in with the Twitch Prime sub, much appreciated. We always appreciate the support both from our subs here as well as our patrons on Patreon. They are what make the stream good. And don't worry, there is a high likelihood that there will be a cat in future streams. He does show up. And thanks everyone, take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, happy coding, and I will see you on Monday.